star at UCLA back in, the mid-1980s. Two-time All-American, is one of the best players in the Gruden's famed golf program's history, and the 1985 Collegiate Player of the Year, and certainly his pro resume doesn't really need a whole lot of explaining. He's got 4 PGA Tour wins under his belt, 2 PGA Tour Champions wins, including the Toshiba Classic nearby last fall, as well as the Mitsubishi Electric Championship at Hawaii earlier this year. He is currently 7th in the Charles Schwab Cup standings, so he will obviously be in attendance here and throughout the 3 playoff events, looking to wrestle away a Charles Schwab Cup title from Mr. Bernhard Langer, who shows no signs of slowing down. But Duffy, we're honored to have you here today, and look forward to having you here to say a few words. Mr. Duffy Waldorf.
Thank you. It's always exciting to come back to Sherwood. Excuse my cold. We did play in Canada last week, just last Sunday, 45 degrees. I didn't even know people play golf in that cold weather. They seem to think it was like, oh, well, it's just a cold day today. It's summer. Anyway, I kind of brought that back with me, but perils of travel, I can't wait to get out. I'm from the Valley, San Fernando Valley, Tarzana, and I enjoy that heat. I'm looking forward to getting a little heat. First off, I'd like to thank Invesco for creating, being the sponsor, creating this tournament. Without them, we don't have a tournament. Thanks so much. I mean, it's really exciting to get new tournaments. The Champions Tours, we've been up and down, and as far as number of tournaments, we're at a really good number now, and getting these new playoff events really, I think, is going to cap the year off great. I'd like to thank Odie and the tournament team for doing all the yeoman's work behind the scenes of getting this event that will look great. And nobody will know who's done it, but we know it's you. Thank you so much. Thanks to Sherwood for hosting. I mean, Sherwood is like that house set up playing in, it was the Northern Trust Open. I think it was, and I think it's Hyundai now. Genesis. Hyundai Genesis, right. I'll learn that. I worked very hard learning the names of the tournaments, and then if you're going to go ZZZ next year, let's QQQ, please. Let's keep it QQQ. All right, no changes, at least for a few years. But it's great to, it's super. I mean, I'm going to have fans out here. I'm actually going to have to get some extra tickets. That was always a challenge. When I played in Los Angeles or San Diego, I'm going to have people watching me. It's going to be exciting. My peeps, my homies, as we say.
Beautiful day.
So, yes.
Yeah, it's great. Good to be back in Southern California. I'm an LA guy.
Well, what part of your game do you work on most, and what part do you concentrate as far as perfecting?
I definitely work on my short game, and then specifically chipping, because each week, like your long game, you play in the air. The air's the air. It doesn't change that much, but out here in the short game area, you're on the ground. The rough changes. You get lies that are thin, lies that are thick. There's so many different kinds of lies you have to be prepared for it, and you have to be ready for the sand traps. So definitely put most of the focus on there, and then of course putting is probably is next.
A lot of pro athletes, they say we've got to study film. How about yourself?
Yeah, the interesting thing is I only study film on myself, because obviously I don't have to worry about an opponent. I don't have to stop Jay Haas from making birdies. Duffy has to make more birdies. So I do look at, a lot of it's feel, because it's a feel. If I'm struggling with something in my swing, I will look at film. But for the most part, I can analyze, what was strong and what was weak, and I'm always working to improve. I think all of us are. It's a unique thing to be 54 and still, have the energy to work to improve your game.
So the next question, what's the key to your longevity and success?
Well, I haven't been injured too much. I'd say, now that I'm out here 54, if I had any advice for the young pros is, conditioning is as important as anything. So you can you want to feel good when you're golfing. And I've had some periods with injuries, and golf is no fun when it hurts. And so the key has been staying mostly injury-free, and actually, I feel like I'm on a plan right now where, I'm revitalizing and staying young, and that's a big deal out there on the Champions Tour.
What do you try to, as far as injury, what part of your body do you personally deal with? Say I'm worried about my back, I'm worried about my leg. What is it?
Yeah. Well, I've had a couple knee surgeries, so I worry about joints, especially my knees. You tend to find the weakest link. The golf finds your weakest link wherever. So I'm working on my body to see if I can strengthen the parts that are weak and keep the ones that are good. But in general, my knees have been a problem, and my back has been a problem in the past. But the program I'm on now, my back has been better, so that's good.
And what's your favorite course, Val?
I kind of have two right now. Pebble Beach in the U.S. and St. Andrews overseas. I love. Well, the history at St. Andrews is hard to beat. It's the birthplace of golf. You go there and you just feel like you're in a different place, and it's kind of almost a different. It's like a different golf experience. And then Pebble Beach to me is the greatest blend of beauty and challenge that we have.
Where do you get the most adrenaline rush when you're facing competition? Any particular cast of golfers?
Oh, I get adrenaline rush. Honestly, a lot of times the early rounds in a tournament, those are kind of the more nervous rounds because you don't have a position yet. And then anytime you're in the hunt at a big tournament, at a major, or really any event, like Sunday before the final round, it's kind of like you want to get that first hit in. You want to get that first hole in and get going, and then it feels better. But usually, if you're in contention for the championship on any Sunday, you get a little nervous to start.
How nerve-wracking is it when you're like battling and as far as am I going to come out? How much does that affect the shots that you shoot?
Well,
and that's a pressure type of moment. And do you see it? You being clutch in those times?
Yeah, I think golf is interesting because you're setting it up. You're setting it up for you may start on Thursday or Friday.
Right.
So it's like those holes count just as much. They don't feel as important though as the ones that the last night on Sunday say, even though they count the same because you got this total score. So you're always building, trying to build a position where you have a chance to win, and then that's kind of like that's your one goal. And then when you get there, you hope you're clutch enough to do it. And the other factor is you can't stop the other guys. Sometimes they're just better than you that day, and that's something you got to live with. Hey, it's Duffy. Right. Come on out to Sherwood. We're going to be at the QQQ Championship. It's exciting. I can't wait. Love to see you here.
Thank you, Duffy. This is Gary G with the Inland Valley News here at the Sherwood Country Club reporting.